Good day, everybody. Mike Sharu is here with the Antler Collector, and today we're going to showcase the Kansas 148 6/8 inch non-typical single shed that was found by a sheriff as he pulled out of his driveway at like 4 a.m. He pulls out, he's driving down the road, maybe 100 yards, and on the right-hand side, he sees a pile of antlers sticking up along the edge of the road in the grass. So he gets out, picks it up, and make a long story short, I ended up finding out about it about 2 weeks later, and about 2 weeks after finding out about it, I had managed to purchase the antler. So I'm going to run through a few details of this shed. It's a 4-pound, little over a 4-pound antler. It has I got my numbers right here in front of me, so I'm going to read some of this off to you. It has the typical frame is a 4-point, so it's got your brow, your G2, 3, and the end of the beam. It's got a double main beam. It's got a triple main beam off the front here, which is really unique. It's hard to get an antler with everything on it. This thing pretty much has everything. The double main beam is one of the longest in the world, and it measures 23 7/8 on that double main beam. The typical frame as a 4-point is 64 0/8. It has a total of 84 6/8, which boosts the score up to 148 6/8. At the time I had this scored, I met up with Odie Sudbeck, who was a deer enthusiast. He wrote deer magazines, or should I say deer books, not so much magazines, but he wrote several deer books on trophy whitetail deer and shed antlers. And I met up with Odie, and he scored it, and he got 152 inches, and he said, "My goodness, you got something special." So we ended up making arrangements, and this has actually happened. The arrangements were made to have it scored around 4 years later from the time I actually bought it. I got busy working out of school, and like I said, it was about 4 years later. So we ended up meeting up with Odie. We took it up to John Coonert, who's no longer with us, and Dave Bolin was there, and another guy named Mike McKenna, who was an official scorer. And they all scored it, tallied up the numbers, and Dave Bolin stood up and he said, "Young man, do you know what you have?" And I just kind of looked down and said, "Well, a big shed." And they kind of chuckled, and he said, "No, you have the new world record single non-typical whitetail." Now keep in mind, at the time, the Minnesota Monarch had been found but had not been entered. So this, in the books, was the #1 single at the time. And it's just an amazing shed, you know, through all the years of collecting. And to be able to buy something like this in the beginning of your career, which you're not sure where you're going to end up in life or what your career is going to be, but you can't help but think that this was meant to happen. And yeah, it's just one of the biggest high scoring sheds in the collection, especially with a score of 148 6/8. I'll read you off a few more numbers here. It has a 7.3 brow, 9.7 on the G2. It got a 6.6 on the G3. The mass is 5, 3/6, 4 5/8, and 2 4/8. So nothing on the antler is like extremely huge for numbers purposes except the total score. Everything is fairly long, but nothing is like 15 inches if you're talking about typical tines. But it is 4 pounds, which is a pinnacle mark for greatness in the shed collecting world. And yeah, one of the greatest sheds of all time. There's an area here you can actually, I don't know if you can see it very well, but right there, right here, there's a depression right there. Kind of hard to see. But this antler actually, look at that. Got a little flex to it. It actually was hitting here when it was in velvet, obviously, and caused it to have a little dimple. But anyway, I hope you all are having a great day, and the Kansas Shed 148 6/8, one of the best in the world. Y'all have a wonderful day, and thanks for tuning in.